Hello, I'm Xochitl Mora with the City of McAllen, and I'm joined by some very special guests here today to talk about the upcoming 2020 census. This is so important for the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm really pleased to have with me today Nedra Knurk, who is the president of Futuro RGV, who will be hosting a census forum next week, and of course our police chief, Victor Rodriguez, who is the chairman of the McAllen Complete Census Count Committee and who is spearheading all of the initiatives being led by the City of McAllen regarding the census. Welcome to you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we are here, Nedra. We are really excited. We have a forum coming up next week, and we'd like to talk about why this is so important and who is going to be a part of that.
Well, it's very important because our future and our children's future depends upon getting everybody counted. And our forum is with Futuro RGV, the Lower Rio Grande Development Council, and did you want to tell where it's going to be and all of that?
Absolutely. The City of McAllen is very proud to be part of this particular forum that's coming up next week. The City of McAllen in part is in part with Futuro RGV and the Lower Rio Grande Development Council are collaborating together to bring this forum together, and we'll have some very high-profile speakers at that forum. The event's next Monday at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. We've got
6 to
well, the
7.
public portion of it's at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, but you're right. We do start all of the displays and videos, et cetera, at 5:15.
Right. But the public forum itself starts at 6 p.m. and we are very excited because we will have a very high-ranking census official here. We'll have the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese in South Texas there as well. And we couldn't have bigger proponents of what we're trying to do here. The census is once in a 10 years experience that we get a chance to do it, so it's important for us to get it done and to do it right this time around.
That is true. It is so important that we are making all of these efforts through the partnerships with all of the community organizations that are here in McAllen and the Rio Grande Valley. And we do have some extremely high-profile people who will be on this panel at the forum next Monday, November 18th. It will be held at the McAllen Convention Center. So, Nedra, tell us who will be on the panel and what we'll be discussing.
Well, we're very excited. We have Tim Olson, who is the Associate Director for Field Operations for the U.S. Census in Washington, D.C. We're also going to have moderator Sergio Contreras, who is with Rio Grande Valley Partnership. We'll have Bishop Daniel Flores, as the chief mentioned. We will have Veronica Gonzalez, who is with UTRGV across the region. We will have Christine Hule, who is with Equal Voice Network, and we're also going to have Rosa Mendoza from Washington, D.C., who is chief of Alvanza CEO that works with underserved and underprivileged communities. So we think that we're going to have a lot to hear and a lot to be said. And it is free and open to the public. We'll have public displays of how to do the census. 3 important points. 1, it's very important that you be counted. 2, it's easy, and we'll have a video showing how to do it. And 3, your answers are confidential and it's safe. And we think that, and I do want to mention McAllen ISD is going to provide Spanish translation at the forum and sign language translation.
Well, this is so important because the census is all about counting every person who lives in the United States and specifically in this region. And Chief, you understand why this is so important, reaching out to these underrepresented communities,
Absolutely.
these communities who maybe don't have access to technology, who are monolingual and may feel some fear in participating. And so this forum is going to give everyone a chance to ask those questions and get familiar. Chief, what are you doing with the McAllen Complete Census Count Committee to help get that message out to the community?
Well, Nedra is one of our members, and she happens to be also part of Futuro RGV. We're very lucky to have her on our committee. But we've spent about the last year or so saturating basically South Texas, McAllen particularly, with the concept of the census coming up here in 2020. We're beginning to basically shift gears. First part of next year, the census itself will take place April 1 of 2020. This is the first time that the census can be done via internet systems. You know, this is in its history, this is the first time that's going to happen. So we've got challenges ahead to be able to educate our local community with the capacities. You're going to be able to do this via internet, by mail, or by being counted in your homes. It all depends on which method you choose. Our residents in South Texas will start getting notice and of how they can do this by March 12th or so of 2020. They will start getting some information in the mail, and by which they'll be given the option of which way they want to participate in the census. You know, the optimum one will be via internet. And so we are working very, very hard in McAllen. I think we've worked really, really good this time around with our communities, not just McAllen, but Hidalgo County and basically South Texas, to familiarize our community with the fact that the census exercise is coming up in April 20 of 20. That is April 1st, 2020. As we get into the first quarter of next year, it's going to be extremely important for all of us to accentuate why it's so important. It's important for these reasons. Number one, and not only these reasons, but including these reasons. Number one is representation is going to be based upon a count. So how future districting, and every 10 years we go through a districting, redistricting battle, and all that comes from the census numbers. So it's important for us to have a good count so that we have good representation. Federal dollars are shared based upon your counts. So it's important that we maximize our count so that we have the maximum federal dollars coming to our communities. One of the more important pieces of information I think that our people should know in South Texas is that census information goes to the U.S. Department of Commerce. It stays there. They cannot share that information with anyone else. It's against all federal laws for them to share that information with any other agency, state, local, or federal.
It's very confidential.
It's extremely confidential. It's extremely prohibited by law. That's always been the case. We've never had a case where that's been broken. So we want to assure people that their participation in the census exercise is a confidential exercise.
So
well,
it's safe.
So it's very safe. So this forum that's taking place next Monday sounds like it's extremely important, and we are very fortunate that we are having such a high-ranking official from the census who will be participating. And so I think that's important for a community to be able to take advantage, come to this free event, ask those questions, and get familiar and get asked their questions so that they can feel confident when it does come time to participate in the census. And of course, Chief, we want to thank you so much for all your efforts to continue to promote this message with all these grassroots initiatives and publicity and other partnerships that have been created throughout the Rio Grande Valley, because while we may be in McAllen today, we are working as a region to be able to get everyone to participate in the census. So there you have it, next Monday, November 18th, starting at 5 p.m. with a lot of different informational sessions that people can gather and be part of, just to be able to get familiar with the census event. And then of course at 6 p.m. is when the official panel discussion will commence.
And it's free and open to everyone.
It is free and open to everyone. There will be bilingual translators, sign language, and people will be able to ask their questions.
And it's at the McAllen Convention Center.
At the McAllen Convention Center, in the ballroom. There we go. And that's 700 Convention Center Boulevard. We hope to see everyone there. And of course, they can follow the City of McAllen on social media as we continue to post all of the information that we have regarding the census, as does the census have their own social media. That's how everyone is staying in touch. But thank you so much, Nedra, for being here, and Chief, of course, for being here and for hosting the forum next week. And Chief, thank you for leading our committee in all of the census initiatives that we are doing here for the City of McAllen and really the entire Rio Grande Valley. Thank you all so much for watching.